I just turned on my camera. Why? They just started mowing and I just turned my camera on. Hopefully you can hear this or I'll just have to redo this video. So today I want to share with you things that have sold, my favorite things that have sold in March, my favorite finds that have sold, and even some cancellations because I was excited for maybe 2 minutes. But hey, you know, I'll take that. So come on along and I'll show you what's sold. In March, I sold quite a bit of things. I do sell on more than one account. So March was a pretty good month. And I'll show you what I sold that I enjoyed selling. I'll share with you a couple clothing items. That's probably not that exciting, but I'll tell you where I got everything. I'll show you how much things sold for. Share with you where you can find things to sell, how to sell them. Hopefully it gives you some good ideas and maybe you'll think of some things that you've never thought about before. So come on along and I'll show you what we have. Exciting. Sorry about the noise. I think the rest of this video I will go somewhere else. I thought I chose a quiet spot, but however, that is not the case. So let's dive into my favorite finds of March and what they sold for. Okay, so here we have some goodies for March. I found a quiet spot. Hopefully it's quiet right now anyway. Here's one of those items. I'm so embarrassed. I sold this to a really nice buyer. This is an allied brass ladybug wall mount hanging or a desktop paperclip. I got this from a really old farmhouse auction. It was hanging on the wall in the kitchen and I was able to just grab stuff that I wanted off the walls, have the auctioneer auction it up. Really old farmhouse, and they said it went back like, I think 12 generations. Frontier old. So I sell this item and then I'm like the worst seller ever. I lost it. Yep, that's right. I sold it and I'm usually like really good at being organized, and I had a SKU number and it wasn't with a SKU number. Guess where it was? Guess where it was? I finally found it and I feel really stupid. So when I went camping, I brought a bunch of Matchbox cars with me that I had just bought at auction, and my husband and I were going through them and looking at them. We were having a good old time. I found this in the Matchbox container. Oh my goodness. So this is really neat. It's super old. It's super heavy and I feel really stupid. This is what you call a do not do as a seller 101. Don't put it in weird spots. And not only that, but the Matchbox cars, like I put on the top shelf and it's the really high one next to the ceiling. I am like just over 5 foot tall, so there was no way I was going to even see this up there. No way. I just happened to be pulling stuff off the top, one of the top boxes, and I seen that container sitting up there and I thought, okay, well, I need to organize that better. And when I pulled it down, I was like, oh no. There it is. I should have looked better. I am so awful. So that one did not count. Okay, so here is another one. And here's a vintage antique sleepy eye miniature plastic Indian doll. So I sold this one. You know, very brittle. I would say she was probably from the 50s. She reminds me of dolls my grandma had. And somebody wanted it and it went to a good home. I do collect miniatures actually, but I do not keep them all. So this was one of them that I bought, and this one came from an estate auction with a bunch of little dollies. Okay, so here we have a Frank Lloyd Wright, George C. Stewart House, 1909, Montecito, California. Okay, if I don't pronounce that right, I'm sorry. Hopefully it's close. So this one is a postcard I had bought at a local auction online, and it was a box of like papers. It looked like a teacher had cleaned out her office or her classroom. To me, that's what it looked like. There was a lot of different things in this box. The photos were not good. And I seen that there was postcards in there, and I knew that I could take my money and get my money back in postcards. I like to sell postcards because they're really, really easy to do, and they just sit there. They don't take up any space. They're just super easy. You can even take these along with you somewhere and just list them in the car as you go along. This was in a book, as you can see. I decided to take these apart one by one and sell them per piece instead of per book. And I have made hundreds of dollars doing that, especially if they're a well-known place. So I would say like Texas or, Florida or California. Those places sell pretty well. Sometimes New York. Well, this teeny little booklet, I bought the whole lot of like a big box of stuff. And it was $5. This one sold. I've made quite a bit on this. So here is a vintage 1950s Robin Hood flower advertising cookie cutters. I love advertising stuff. I think it's really cool. These were super cute. I was tempted to keep these and make some really funny cookies. They're really, really cute. Look at these guys. Got little faces. And you can see here if you look, if you kind of tilt it towards the light, you can see some writing, or even get a loupe or a magnifying glass when you're looking at these. And if they have writing, you definitely want to put what they are in there. Now this one I bought at another auction. This was an online auction locally. It was like a basket of cookie cutters, like a whole basket. I haven't even listed all of them yet. I think I paid around, I don't know, $10, $15 for the whole basket. Happy to pass it along to somebody who could use it. Okay, so here's a vintage 1997 Jim Henson Tyco preschool pots, toys, play cookware for kids. These are plastic, definitely vintage. Now I bought these at an auction, probably about 45 minutes from my house. And this was a live auction, so I stayed there literally like for hours. What I do is I like to stay to the very end. And so what happens in the end a lot of times at these in-person auctions, they will either clear a table or they'll clear certain things, or sometimes you can bring up things on a table and have them auction off. So I had brought up this big box of toys, and it was very random. I didn't know what was in there, but I knew like vintage toys sell, and whatever it was, I'd make some money. So I bought this whole box of toys for $1. Okay, so here's a Catherine's new bell sleeve cold shoulder blouse line floral plus size 5X. This was my favorite clothing haul probably of all times. So we have an outlet mall by us, and sometimes stores don't do so well. And when they don't do well, they sell off all their inventory. Not only did Dress Barn go out of business, which I'm really sad about because they do have really nice clothing. My aunt and I really like to shop there. It was pretty much under $2 for everything. They had also brought other different companies in there that were closing. So what I did is I went through there. Don't all hate me. No judging. This is a judge-free zone. Okay, so I went through. I took my hands in the racks and I just went swipe. And I swiped up all the goodies. I took all the plus size clothing. I bought it all. The people were looking at me, and a store manager came up to me and she goes, and she didn't quite know what to say to me. I said, yeah, I'm buying it all. She goes, well, we're closing. This is our last day, I think she said, or the next day was the last day. I said, yes, that's fine. She goes, well, you can't return it. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I like selling plus size clothing. It sells really well, especially when it's like really nice stuff and really good quality. The stuff was really nice. So I went through there and I just took my arms where people weren't standing, of course, and I swiped them all, and people kept trying to like quick look at things, but I wasn't there to look at onesie twosies. I was there to clear. Oh, that was a bad picture. So I was there just to clear the areas. I bought hundreds of these pieces, and I don't know if I have any of these left. This might have been my last one or close to the last one. I've sold hundreds of these pieces, and I think the lowest I went was probably like $25. I don't think I went lower than that I can remember. So I've made quite a bit of profit on that. They're really, really nice, and they are beautiful pieces of clothing. He has a Bryn's 50s vintage November ceramic angel wings, girl green dress, figurine, reed. And lately I've been putting reed here. If it has like a little flaw or something, I just want to make sure that people see. So it did have like a little tiny chip, as you can see here on the flower. Definitely a vintage piece, and it still had the stickers on the bottom, which is awesome. I love it when people don't take the stickers off because then I know the name brand. And you can see here it's definitely got that 50s logo vibe. Carefully packed her up. I think I even have a video of me packing this one up. This was just another one of those auction clear the tables. And so what I do is just line everything up and I just go boom, 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 boom. And then I just put them away on the same shelf and I will note the SKU on the shelf that I'm putting them on. I try to upload a picture of the SKU number too, just so I don't do what I did before, because that was really bad. I don't want to lose things. And she's really cute. I'm glad she found a home. I was worried because it said November that it would actually sell, but it did. I'm so thankful for the buyer for buying this one. Okay, now this one did not sell for very much. And this is a Faded Glory new 2X satin sheen purple fuchsia zipper back blouse top plus. Okay, so I know this did not sell for very much. And most of them did not. Some of them did. This was another one where I had hundreds of these. And I went to Walmart one day and they had racks, like literally this huge, huge, huge line down the aisle of all these wheeled racks, and they had all this stuff on clearance, and everything was $1. Like, so this is also one of the last ones that I have, and these were actually, I thought these were like really nice quality too. They're real dressy, like you could wear them as like a short sleeve shirt, or you can wear a blazer over it for work. These were great. These are really pretty. That sold really cheap, but that was fine. You know, I've had them for a while. It was time to just move them on. And I'm glad somebody else can enjoy it. That's what it's all about. Vintage, metal, primitive mirrors, sconce, candle holder, wall hanging, arts and crafts. Okay, so this one was in a online auction that I bought, and it was like a bunch of probably less than $20 for all of them. This is something to watch out for because wall hangings sell well. This was a real pain in the bleep to package. A lot of people don't like packaging these things. So if you can find them and list them, I would definitely say things like this are a bolo because people don't like picking them up. They don't like breakables because it can break. They don't like shipping it. You have to be really careful, and you also have to have the products to ship it with. I could probably see some of my house in that mirror. I just realized that. So I kind of took pictures in like different areas because it was one of those things where it was kind of difficult to photograph. So I took them in different areas of my house so you could see what it looked like kind of in different light. And sometimes I'll do that if it's kind of a finicky item. Alright, so this one's sold, and I wrapped up really carefully. I think there might be a video of this one too, maybe. I had to be real careful with this, and I think I double boxed it, I'm sure, because it has glass. I was really happy to sell this one and move this one along because it was definitely breakable, and I was afraid that, you know, if I put anything by it, that it was going to break. So I had to be really careful when I stored this and really careful shipping it. Okay, here's a vintage 80s, 90s bedspread floral lace ruffle 3-piece comforter sham set. And this one sold to a very nice buyer. I enjoyed talking to her. However, I sold this. I was really happy to sell this. This came from a live auction, and I bought up all the linens. All of them. I didn't get them all though, because somebody stole one of my boxes before I could grab them. And I literally had 2 helpers helping me that day. And so I would win things, and then I was slapping a sticker on, and I had helpers taking things to my truck and loading everything up because I have a really big problem with people stealing things. They were doing that as I was bidding and buying. So if you go to live auctions, I would definitely advise bringing a second person to be your eyes and your hands and your your feet on the ground to bring those things to your car. Also, I do now put painter's tape on my boxes that I win, and I put Jody on them. And I've actually, like, it's so bad, you guys. Like, I was at this auction and people were stealing stuff off my table, and I grabbed, okay, this is really kind of embarrassing. I grabbed my porta potty back. I told her to keep her hands off. And she goes, but I just wanted the porta potty. It was like one of those things for camping where you had like this little toilet on a stand, and I'm like, but that's a lot. This is TMI. Close your ears if you don't want to hear TMI. So I bought this auction because it was COVID season and like no bathrooms were open, nothing was open. And I'm still a person. I still have to get out of my house. Like, I can't be shut in my house all the time. So I'm like, I am gonna buy this. And if I need it, I'm gonna use it. Everybody's like, I'm not riding in your car. I was like, keep your hands off my stuff. I'm so embarrassed to say this. I had to just put my foot down. These people were like trying to steal my stuff off the table. I bought the whole table for $1. Yes, I only bought it for $1. And yes, I probably got like 50 items. I got tons of tools, tons of outdoor stuff. I don't care. It's just the point of it. Like, I want this. This is mine. If you want to buy something from me, then come and talk to me about it. I'll be glad to probably sell it to you. Unless it's a porta potty. Then keep your hands off. So this one sold and the buyer changed their mind, which I was like, oh. Because I really wanted to send this out. It's actually pretty big. My plan is to unlist this and sell them separately because I have relisted it. Sell like the shams and then the bedspreads separately because it's huge. Like, it is massive. And this would take like a big box. So I'm gonna try to like reduce the weight and the size. Okay, so next up we have a pair of Tischwein Vintage 18/8 Germany set of 2 stainless steel bread serving trays. These came at a local auction online, and I bought a bunch of like silver type things. So a big lot of silver colored things. This was one of them. I think I paid about that much for the whole lot. So whatever else sells is just profit for me. But these are definitely neat. They're really good for serving if you have a party. Plus they're vintage and they're German. So it was just interesting. Hopefully you can't see my reflection. That's always my fear. I do wear clothing. I'm not one of those people that don't wear clothes when they take pictures and then you can see it and then it floats all around the universe online. No, not gonna happen. And this was really easy to store because I just stacked them on top of each other with a piece of tissue paper inside of them. Okay, so here is another fun find I had. This is a vintage Lenard, the Corpse Rescue Emergency Firefighter action figure. So this one sold, and I have a video on this one of finding this stuff. This was an online auction I had bought. I think I paid like probably $5 or $6 if I remember right. It was in a green bucket. So if you see like a green bucket video, I think that's the one it was in. It was like a big bucket of toys. And I'm like, yes. I could tell they were like, some of them were vintage. Probably like most of them were like from the 90s. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Super easy to list that stuff. It's kind of fun. And I enjoy like looking up the stuff to see what it is. Kind of pass along some nostalgia. So even though it doesn't sell for a lot, that bucket of toys has made me like hundreds of dollars already. Just so much money. So if you can find like a box or a tote, you know, try to group up those toys and buy them. Usually people just want to get rid of them. And I know when my kids were little and when I got rid of stuff, I just threw everything in a garbage bag and donated everything. So, which was really stupid. Hello, you sell on eBay. Ugh. I guess at the time I didn't have room for like extras. And I was just selling clothing. Well, now I have a whole separate room just for toys and hard goods. So that's what happens when the kid moves up to college and I can do what I want. I turned his room into an eBay fortress. So here's a vintage Suzuki Travis Pastrana Watercross motorcycle die-cast plastic dirt bike. This little guy comes off and it's definitely like really good quality made. I had a lot of questions on these kind of things. This one and the one I just showed you, I think they sold like within minutes of listing them. They sold very, very quickly. When you buy a box of toys, these are just little pieces out of them. So it's a really good profit. It's a great way to buy things. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now this is another piece of clothing. INC International Concepts, linen skimmer shorts, crop capri pants, 22W. So this was another one of my favorite sales of the month. I bought a pallet of Macy's stuff. Now, if you have a chance to buy a pallet of Macy's things, and this is from like a huge auction place over here, and they sell a lot of pallets. So I bought one of their pallets, and I love Macy's clothing. It is like the best. It is good quality made. Actually, since I've bought this pallet, I've started buying from Macy's because their clothes are like really nice. So this is one of my favorite things because I loved the pallet. It was good quality items. It wasn't like all tore up like some things are that you can buy. It was just really nice clothing. So that was definitely one of my favorite buys, and my favorite sells was the Macy's pallet. This is another one of my favorite things to sell. Didn't sell for a lot, but hey, that's okay. So this is a Gibson Christmas greeting card, late 1800s, with printed name, Hoxie. So I don't want to put like somebody's full name on the front. I feel a little weird about that. I have some like that I need to take down and kind of redo, and probably maybe just lot them together because I haven't sold. So this is a greeting card. This is a really old ephemera greeting card. I love ephemera. Ephemera is my favorite thing to sell. Look at this one. It was even printed up. A cordial Christmas greetings and best wishes for the new year. Mrs. Frederick Jerome Hoxie. And I love it when they have the name printed on the bag. Hallelujah. Look at even the texture. It's kind of like almost a waffle weave, that cardstock. This was really, really old. And you can tell too by like just the fonts of it that it was old. I think this one might have came from that really old farmhouse. Things that I bought from that farm were just amazing. It was definitely like my favorite buyout that I have ever done in my life. It was just like so cool. I did have helpers there too. Just a little tip too, a lot of times as resellers, you can work together with people, and ephemera was really hard to buy, and this man goes, I just want like the advertising thing out of there. And I said, oh, okay. So he goes, will you sell it to me? I'll stop bidding. I said, sure. Just be really nice to people. A lot of times I just sell things even at the auction. I'm selling things as I'm buying things. So I won the whole lot. I think for like $16 he gave me for like this piece of ephemera. It was probably worth a lot, but hey, I don't care. I sold something. I paid for it. I got cash in my hand to pay for that whole lot. So I'm okay with that. Bring cash, because a lot of times with these places, if you pay cash, it's cheaper. You don't have to pay certain fees. Otherwise, you're going to pay probably a credit card fee, and they can be expensive. It can be really expensive. It just depends on what they feel like charging you. So you can save money right there. This is when I get my red lipstick out, I have to admit. And keep your ears open because you can listen, because sometimes we're like, well, I wonder how much this is worth. I've been selling for so long that I know what things are worth a lot of times, so I'll help them out, or I'll look stuff up from them. This is going for this. If you help people out, they will help you out. Be kind, be nice, have fun, find great things. So here is a holiday editions extra large purple black flower velvet mixed media girls dress 14/16. This is just one of my personal items. I was hanging on to. I just don't want to let go. And I was clearing out the closet and like literally I got rid of everything out of the closet that I had kept. I was moving my office into this room. I got rid of everything out of there. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna just get rid of the dresses. I was holding onto a couple of them just for memory's sake, but I don't even think my daughter wore this, so I can remember. And she's all grown up now, so it was time to let go. I don't know, 5 or 6 dresses in the back of that closet just hanging there, so cute. And I'm like, I don't need these. These are memories from the past. It serves me no purpose to have something hanging in the back of a closet. One day I'm like, this is dumb. Let's sell it. And it sold for quite a bit of money. I was so appreciative that I could pass that item on to another little girl that could enjoy this cute little dress. It was so darling. It was like really puffy. Really, really cute. Okay, and here is the last item of my favorite finds and my favorite solds of March. And this is an advertising, quick and easy, Vaughn, Chicago, 24 beer cap, lifter, can bottle opener, 63. I went to an auction and there was like just a bag, like a ton of these bottle openers, like nobody wanted them. And I bought the whole thing for like a couple dollars. It was like all these bottle openers and people are kind of like, why? Why are you buying them? If you look here, you can see the old writing. I couldn't exactly see what it said. Small. It's small. Like you can't really tell unless you get a magnifying glass what this says. For me, I mean, maybe other people are different. Maybe other people have good eyes. For me, like I could see there was writing and I could see that this looked like 50s writing to me. It's really hard to see. And so I tried like different lighting options to just see if I could get that better. And then I kind of blew it up with my phone. And the cool thing is like you can pull this up and find history on this place here. So that's how I found information on that. I have sold so many of these. I don't know if I have any left or not. I think I do. I just had to sell one. I'm more than making my money on that. And everything else is profit. Love it, love it, love it. Gotta love it. Okay, so that's my favorite finds and favorite solds. I hope that gives you some good ideas to keep your eyes out for different things that are out there and you can find and list on eBay. Have an awesome day, everybody. Bye.